I still remember the shaky feeling that washed over me when my friend Walter, 77, called in a panic at 2 a.m. He was alone in the hospital, hooked up to monitors that beeped endlessly, waiting for a nurse who never seemed to arrive. Walter told me he pressed the call button 3 times, but all he heard were distant voices rushing down the hallway. By the time someone finally checked on him, his blood pressure had spiked and they had to adjust his medication dosage on the spot. He was lucky. Nothing tragic happened that night, but it was a stark reminder of a growing reality. Medical staffing shortages are leaving many seniors vulnerable and worried about the quality of care they receive. The truth is, many people over 65 feel a nagging anxiety every time they step into a clinic or hospital these days. They've watched the news, heard about burned out healthcare workers leaving their jobs, and even experienced the consequences themselves. Long wait times, hurried visits, and a sense that the system just doesn't have enough hands on deck. The fear that rises in the back of your mind is, what if I fall through the cracks? And that fear isn't unfounded. When staffing is stretched thin, the margin for error grows wider, meaning small mistakes like delayed medication or a missed symptom could lead to very real health setbacks. But here's the thing, you don't have to sit back and accept just okay or inconsistent care. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 insider tips that can help you navigate these staffing shortages and still get the high-quality medical attention you deserve. This isn't about criticizing healthcare workers. Most of them are doing their best under tough circumstances. It's about empowering you to take strategic steps to protect yourself and your well-being. By the time we reach the end, you'll know exactly how to advocate for your needs, connect with the right resources, and reduce the risk of falling through those cracks. Stay with me until the final tip, because it's the one piece of advice that almost no one discusses, yet it could be the difference between a frustrating experience and a secure, well-managed healthcare journey. Doctors and specialists are increasingly aware that seniors need more guidance in this area. Healthcare organizations themselves acknowledge that shortages are real and aren't going away anytime soon. The insights I'm about to share are rooted in what many seasoned professionals have observed over decades of working with older adults. But what's even more powerful is how simple these steps can be once you know them. So before we jump in, if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know whenever there's new information that could keep you safer, healthier, and more in control of your care. If you find this video useful, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0 so I'll know how to improve. Your feedback truly does matter. Let's get started with the first insider tip. The first big insight might sound controversial. Don't rely on just one doctor or one point of contact in a healthcare system that's understaffed. Most people believe having a single primary care physician is sufficient. And while it's important to have a main doctor who knows your history, the reality is that offices are juggling more patients than ever. If your primary physician goes on leave, moves to a new practice, or simply has an overwhelming patient load, you can find yourself lost in the shuffle. Consider the story of Janet, age 82, who had a wonderful primary care doctor she trusted for years. But one day, that doctor retired unexpectedly, and Janet discovered that her medical records weren't transferred properly. She spent 3 months in limbo without consistent care. During that time, a nagging cough she had turned into full-blown bronchitis because she couldn't get in to see a new doctor promptly. It's a common misconception that a single practice will always have someone available to seamlessly pick up your case. The truth is that rapid staff turnover can leave gaps in knowledge. A new physician might not be aware of specific nuances in your health history, like a medication that caused you side effects 10 years ago, or may not have the same specialized expertise in, say, heart conditions or chronic pain. The surprising insight is that building a small network of care providers, even if that means having a secondary doctor or a nurse practitioner you trust, can give you a layer of protection. Think of it like creating a safety net under a tightrope walker. If you slip, you have something to catch you before you hit the ground. So here's a practical step you can take. Research a second doctor or clinic that's covered by your insurance and schedule an introductory visit. Let them know you're simply looking to establish a relationship so that if anything happens with your primary doctor, you won't have to scramble to find care. Keep your medical records easily accessible, whether that's in a secure online portal or a physical folder, so you can share them quickly. The emotional benefit here is peace of mind. You'll sleep better knowing that if your main doctor is suddenly unavailable, you won't be left waiting for weeks or months to be seen. Instead, you'll have a backup plan that keeps you in the driver's seat of your healthcare experience. The second insider tip might ruffle some feathers. Start embracing remote and telehealth services, even if it feels unfamiliar. Many seniors believe in-person appointments are always superior, but that's not necessarily the case when offices are overloaded. Face-to-face visits are critical for certain types of examinations, but telehealth is more than just a convenience. It can be a lifeline when physical appointments get delayed for weeks. Consider the case of Arthur, who is 75 and lives in a rural area. He was skeptical about video calls, saying, "I prefer a real handshake, not a screen." But after an intense bout of stomach pain, he realized driving 2 hours to the nearest clinic wasn't feasible on short notice. He reluctantly tried a telehealth appointment and, to his surprise, found that the doctor gave him ample time, carefully reviewed his symptoms, and called in a prescription to a local pharmacy that afternoon. There's a huge misconception that remote care is impersonal or ineffective. But in a healthcare system stretched to its limits, telehealth can often provide quicker attention, especially for follow-ups, consultations, or mild symptoms that don't require an in-person exam. The surprising truth is that many specialists are now offering telehealth slots, which can reduce wait times significantly. It's also a more relaxed experience for you. Instead of battling traffic, you can speak to a healthcare professional from the comfort of your living room, which lowers stress and might even allow you to communicate more clearly about what's going on. Here's a practical step. Ask your clinic if they have telehealth options. If the technology worries you, see if a friend or family member can help set it up the first time. Often, once you've done it once or twice, it becomes second nature. The emotional benefit is that you maintain a sense of security and continuity in your care. You won't be stuck waiting weeks for an appointment when your needs can be met in a more immediate, convenient way. You'll also feel empowered by mastering a new skill that keeps you connected to modern healthcare solutions. If you're finding these insights valuable so far, please let me know by commenting with the number 2 below. It shows me you're still watching and helps me understand which points resonate most with you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so now. Your support means a lot and helps us bring you more information aimed at protecting your well-being. Let's move on to the third insider tip. This one challenges a common belief. You shouldn't just accept whatever appointment or schedule is handed to you. Many seniors think they have to passively wait for the system to fit them in, but that approach can be risky when staff are overworked. Take Teresa, 70, who needed a routine procedure for a recurring issue. When she tried to schedule it, the receptionist told her the earliest slot was 3 months away. Teresa's pain was getting worse, and 3 months felt like a lifetime. Instead of resigning herself to a long wait, she politely asked if there was a cancellation list or if another branch of the same clinic had earlier availability. The receptionist found an opening just 2 weeks later at a nearby location. Teresa jumped on it and got her procedure done before the pain became unmanageable. The misconception is that once you're given a date, you're stuck with it. The reality is that healthcare systems often have cancellations, especially now when staffing shortages can lead to reshuffling. There might be an entirely different clinic within the same network with a better schedule. The surprising part is how many times you can get your needs met faster simply by politely asking for alternatives. Here's your practical step. Whenever you schedule an appointment, ask if there's a cancellation list you can join. Also, explore whether different locations in your health network have shorter wait times. Sometimes driving an extra 20 minutes can save you months of waiting. The emotional payoff is huge. Knowing you have some control makes you feel protected. You're not just at the mercy of the system. You can steer your journey to better care in a time frame that suits you. Even if you encounter resistance, being persistent and respectful can open doors you didn't even realize were there. More than once, I've heard of seniors calling back a day or two after being told no, or "that's the earliest we have," only to find a new slot had just opened up. That moment of relief, when you realize you don't have to sit around worrying about your condition getting worse, is priceless. On to the fourth insider tip, and it's a game changer. Build a personal care network beyond doctors. This means close friends, family members, neighbors, or community volunteers who understand your medical needs. Most people assume that caregivers only exist in the form of professional home health aides or nurses, but let me share William's story. He's 79 and has been battling chronic kidney issues. When his local hospital faced severe staffing shortages, he realized that if he ever needed sudden hospitalization, there might not be enough staff to check on him as frequently as needed. Instead of sitting with that worry, William rallied a small group of people, his daughter, a retired nurse down the street, and a friend from church who used to work in healthcare administration. They formed a mini care circle. Whenever William has to go in for a treatment, at least one member of his circle is informed. They call to check if he's receiving attention, help ask the right questions about his care plan, and ensure follow-up instructions don't slip through the cracks. The misconception is that only professionals can advocate for you. But the truth is that anyone who genuinely cares about your well-being can become part of your support system. The surprising insight is how much more seriously medical staff sometimes take a patient when they see they have a circle of people regularly checking in. It sends a message that you have advocates and that you're not alone in monitoring your health. Your practical step: identify one or two people you trust and share with them the key details of your health, medications, allergies, the name of your primary doctor, and a list of conditions you're managing. Ask them if they'd be willing to be a contact person in case of emergency or if you need an extra hand coordinating care. The emotional benefit is a profound sense of security. Knowing you have supportive voices amplifies your presence in the healthcare system. It also alleviates the anxiety that comes from feeling you have to handle every hurdle on your own. If you're still here with me and finding these ideas helpful, go ahead and comment with the number 4 below. It encourages me to keep going and reassures me that this content is making a difference. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to do so now to stay updated with more tips that can help keep you protected and well-informed. Now for the fifth and final tip, and it's one that rarely gets discussed. Understand how to escalate concerns politely but firmly if you sense your care is being neglected. A lot of seniors feel it's rude or unnecessary to speak up when staff are busy. They think, I don't want to be a bother. But when staff levels are low, there's a real chance that vital details can be overlooked. Marjorie, 68, learned this the hard way. She was admitted for an overnight observation after a minor surgery. Hours passed without anyone coming to check her bandages, which were supposed to be changed regularly. She felt guilty about pressing the call button again and again, so she stayed quiet. By morning, her bandage had stuck to the wound, causing extra pain and a risk of infection. What most seniors don't realize is that hospitals and clinics have protocols for escalating concerns if you truly feel unsafe or overlooked. If the nursing staff is too busy, you can request to speak with the charge nurse or a patient advocate. The surprising fact here is that even in understaffed environments, there's usually a hierarchy designed to address critical patient needs. You have the right to say, I feel my care is not being adequately managed. I need help now, without being disrespectful. A practical step is to learn the names and roles of the people involved in your care. Who is the head nurse on duty? Is there a patient advocacy office you can call? Store those numbers on your phone or keep them written down. The emotional benefit is that you reclaim a sense of authority over your well-being. Being nice doesn't mean staying silent when your health is at stake. Take these 5 tips together, and you'll find that even in a strained healthcare system, you can position yourself to receive quality care. You won't be part of the crowd that just waits and hopes for the best. You'll be the senior who knows how to navigate the system with confidence. Imagine feeling that sense of relief when you realize you're not at the mercy of whatever happens. You have options, you have a voice, and you have strategies that work. Now, as we wrap up, think about these 5 insider tips and how they can change your experience. The difference between worry and security sometimes comes down to simple, proactive steps. When you establish a backup doctor or nurse practitioner, you're ensuring continuity in an uncertain system. When you use telehealth, you're cutting down wait times and saving energy. When you ask about cancellations or alternative locations, you're speeding up your own path to better health. Building a care circle means you're never alone in navigating the medical maze. And learning how to escalate concerns respectfully ensures you never let critical issues slip by in silence. The time to act is now. If you wait until you're already in a hospital bed or until you desperately need an appointment, you might face longer delays and a feeling of helplessness. But by setting up these protective measures today, even if you start with just one of them, you're safeguarding your future self. Picture yourself a few months from now, secure in the knowledge that you have a solid plan in place for any medical challenge. Maybe you'll have that telehealth app installed and ready to go. Perhaps you'll have an appointment next week instead of 3 months from now. Maybe you'll feel comforted by the fact that your daughter, neighbor, or church friend has your health details at the ready, just in case. Ask yourself, which of these tips resonates the most with you right now? Maybe it's the idea of establishing a second doctor, or maybe you want to explore telehealth for the first time. Visualize how incorporating that tip into your life could prevent unwanted stress or complications down the road. Your healthcare journey is uniquely yours, so pick the advice that fits your situation best and take the first step today. Even a small action, like sending an email to your clinic about telehealth options, can set you on a more secure path. I invite you to leave a comment below sharing which tip stood out to you and how you plan to use it. Your insights might also inspire someone else who's facing a similar situation. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. It's a simple gesture that truly supports this channel's mission to empower seniors with the knowledge and confidence they need. And if you have a friend or family member who could benefit from these 5 tips, don't hesitate to share this video with them. We all know someone who's worried about the state of healthcare these days, and it feels good to help them feel a little more secure. Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember, no matter how chaotic the medical landscape becomes, you have more control than you might think. Each tip we covered is a tool you can use to protect your well-being. So stay proactive, stay vigilant, and never forget that your voice and your decisions matter. You deserve quality care, and with these strategies, you'll be one step closer to making sure you get it every single time. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.